life is so damn short, as we saw with Tiger just a couple of weeks ago. What do you hear about him? I'm sure there'll be a lot of conversation about him, certainly at one point during the broadcast. Are you hearing anything about his recovery right now?
No, it's been really, truly, it's been that information has been held pretty tight, and that's just the way Tiger wants it. As you know, I had the last interview with Tiger some 36 hours before his accident. He joined me on the air in the final round at Riviera for the Genesis Open. He was kind enough to hang in there for 12 minutes. And, well, I got to tell you this story. I've got to tell you this story.
Okay.
So you check in with someone that's going to join you during a commercial break. You make sure their headset's on. Can they hear you? Are their levels good? This and that. So we had the perfunctory, hey, Tiger, how you doing? Can you hear me? Good, yeah, oh, good. Hey, congratulations, this was an anniversary year for his Tiger Woods Foundation. Checked in. Hey, can you stay for a while? We're going to try to bob and weave the interview in with some live golf. Good, I'm good. I've got all kinds of time. Great. Yeah, I'll do a segment with you guys. Perfect. Stand by. Here we go. So now next thing you're on the air. And, you're asking Tiger questions about his foundation and how it's his health. And then I started to get into, is he coming back for Augusta? And again, we cut away a few times, and he's still talking over some of the important shots with Max Homa and all the contenders that were taking place. Now it comes time to say goodbye. And one of the last things I asked him, would we see him at Augusta 7 weeks from now? He said, God willing, I'll be there, which is a little eerie now that you hear it. Mm-hmm. And then I said, would you play a tournament running up to it just to have a rep? He said, all that I don't know. I'm waiting to see what the doctors say. Well, Tiger, thanks for being with us. And it's great to see you again. We hope to see you down at Augusta. At that time, Seller Shy, our producer, our esteemed producer, puts up a graphic that shows Sam Snead, 82. Tiger Woods, 82 wins. Jack Nicklaus, 73. So this panel is on the screen. So I'm reacting to it. So I look at it, again, just recall whatever, a sense of history that I've been blessed with by the man upstairs, and I'm grateful for that. I said, hey, Tiger, take a look at this. So I just said, Tiger, thanks for being with us. Hey, you got it. Oh, Tiger, take a look at this. There you are with Sam Snead, 82 wins. And here's a story that maybe you don't even know, that when you first debuted on the PGA Tour as a 16-year-old, Sam Snead was the tournament honoree that week in 92 here at Riviera. And he was on the program. They had an oil painting presentation inside the clubhouse. And when you played, Sam Snead came down the hill and watched you play the entire 10th hole. He was in your gallery behind the ropes. He stood behind you when you hit your tee shot off of 11 and then made his way back up the hill to the clubhouse. And who could have ever known that day there would be this fateful confluence of Sam Snead and Tiger Woods, two guys that are now linked with 82 wins all time. It's an amazing story. And about that time, Steve Milton, our director, said, Jim, hold on a minute. We're in commercial. I said, wait, what do you mean? He said, the sellers linked to you went down. We went to commercial a long time ago. I said, what about this whole story I just dropped on Tiger about Sam Snead? He says, nobody at home heard a word of it. We left when you said, thanks, Tiger, for being with us. And all of a sudden, Tiger comes on and says, wait a minute. None of that ever got on the air. And wow. Milton says, none of it, not a word. Oh. And Tiger says something like, man, that's too bad. That was some really good, you know what?
Yeah,
that was really good stuff. Okay, that was some really good stuff. That was unbelievable. He said, how did you know that? I said, I actually had written a story a few years ago in Golf Digest about it, researched it, found it in some files, and he said, man, I wish you guys would come back with that. And, of course, you come back, you got to get back to covering the golf tournament. I thanked him, but that was the last thing that he said. He was so bummed that story about Sam Snead following him around 2 holes in competition when he was a 16-year-old, it didn't make the light of air, as we say. We were gone.
Well, maybe you could tell the story at some point during the Masters, giving him a shout out. I'm sure he'll be out there watching. I assume.
We'll definitely, I'm sure, have several moments where we will be bringing up Tiger. I mean, after all, when again you're dealing with history and context, I mean, there's hardly anything around there that doesn't remind you of a feat of Tigers in the past. So you can't plan it. It's a reactionary thing. We're there to show golf, and I'm sure any number of times there will be an occasion where there's a shot that's similar to something he's pulled off before, or some historical context that I'll need to make the parallel with Tiger and a given player for this week. So we wish him well. I wish I had an update for you. I'll just say this. I have nothing to base this on except having a pretty good understanding of what's inside that man's heart. I've been around him for the great majority of his 82 wins. High 50s, I think it's 57 or so wins, maybe something like that. I know I've been for 9 of his 15 majors on the call, walking him up at the 18th. I can't speak to his X-rays, his surgeries. I can only speak to his heart. And if there's anyone that could ever come back from this, I'm betting on Tiger, and I don't think we've seen the last of him.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.